I'm only human. I'm only human. I'm only human.
It's different.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sports Talk. I am your host, like always, Zach Barnett. I have a special guest with me today, and I don't think he needs any introduction. But my guest, he played with a lot of professional greatness in the NFL, a lot of Hall of Famers, including Dan Marino. My guest, he played college football at Louisville, took his talents to the NFL, and had quite a great career playing football. And his position of choice was center and guard. My special guest is John Bock. Stay tuned for the interview. Brought to you by Vane Protective Gear and Marcus Ogden, inspiring others to take accountability.
Hey, just tell me a little bit about your story, man. What made you get into football as a child?
Well, it was kind of ironic. I was, my family is 3 generations in the NFL, so we have a football background. But I was a fighter as a kid. I was a boxer, and I was supposed to move. I was supposed to move to Florida when I was 10 to be a pro boxer, and my family didn't want me to box, so I took up football. And from the first day that I ever stepped on the field, there was nothing else I wanted to do. That was it. To me, that was my sanctuary and the place I wanted to be.
Definitely, man. You did a great job. So, how was that transition from the high school level at Crystal Lake, correct?
Yes, Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Then you went to Louisville, correct? How was that transition for you, man?
Well, that was kind of, it was funny. I was getting recruited by Notre Dame, dropped me. And Alvarez tried to get me back the next year. The Alvarez recruited me at Notre Dame, and Lou Holtz didn't like me. And so then I was down with Howard Schnellenberger at the University of Louisville and Jimmy Johnson at the University of Miami. And
yes,
Illinois didn't even recruit me. Northern Illinois didn't even recruit me. I only had 3 schools on me, and those were the 3 schools because I was a little guy. I was a 215-pound outside linebacker. And but for whatever reason, those 3 schools liked me.
Yes,
so Howard Schnellenberger made the point to me. He goes, you can go to Miami and you'll play, but you'll play as a senior.
Yes, sir.
And Howard Schnellenberger goes, you come play for me at Louisville, and you're a freshman. So I go to Louisville, and we wound up going to Fiesta Bowl in 1991. We were 17-point underdogs, and we beat Alabama 34-7. And there are 5 Pro Bowlers on that team, including Big Teddy Washington.
Yes, sir.
So Teddy played 22 years in the NFL, so I had to cut my teeth on him in college as a 250-pound center and him a 320-pound DT.
Definitely.
So the NFL became real easy because I had to go against Teddy every day.
Definitely, man.
But then Alvarez wanted me to transfer because I got moved from outside linebacker to offensive center. And then by that time, I'm starting at Louisville. I'm like, no, I'm not going to sit out a year. So the irony is, and I heard Troy Aikman tell the story, and it's kind of a similar story where once Jimmy likes you, Jimmy Johnson is going to the Hall of Fame this year.
Yes, sir.
Once he likes you, he likes you. So he missed on me in college, and then he brought me from the New York Jets to the Miami Dolphins his first year in Miami. And I stayed with Coach the whole way, and then with Jimmy, with Dave Wanstead, and then finally went to Oakland at the end of my career. So, the great thing about Jimmy Johnson is he never got off me, even though I left him to play for the great coach Howard Schnellenberger and Jimmy Johnson, Hall of Fame coach. Very blessed to be around both of them.
Definitely. So during your NFL journey, man, and this can go back to high school and college also, but the best talents that you've been around as a professional football player and during your collegiate career, what was the best talent that you've been around, man?
You know what? I thought about this about 2 years ago. I don't think there's another guy who's played or against more Hall of Famers than me directly. So I started out in Buffalo with the 94 Buffalo Bills.
Yes, sir.
So that whole place is Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, or what was his name? I forget that. But Bruce Smith, and all the other great players. They had Thurman Thomas, all those guys. Then I go to, and I'm a center playing with Jim Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Then I go to New York, and I'm the center for Boomer Esiason. And we have a bunch of other players there that are great. Wayne Corbett, Keyshawn Johnson, Neil O'Donnell even was great. So then I go to Miami Dolphins, and I'm with Dan Marino.
Whew. You killing it, man.
Then I'm going to Oakland. Then I go to Oakland my last year. And forget all the players. The Miami Dolphins, we got Jason Taylor, who tells a great story about me beating him up in the NFL. I got Zach Thomas, who tells the same story, and him and I were great friends. And both Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor both thanked me in their induction speeches to our Ring of Honor here as being a guy that made them better players. And then I go to Oakland, and I'm playing with Jerry Rice, Tim Brown. And then I played against Sapp, Kennedy, no sacks. Bruce Smith, I gave up a half a sack to Bruce Smith. Was a second-year player for the Jets. Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Darrell Russell. So, it was I always want to write a book.
Definitely,
Joe
man.
Sixpack. Some guy out of nowhere, and you want to be in around all these great players.
Hey, it's
But to me, Dan Marino is my favorite.
Definitely.
Dan Marino is my guy, and Jim Kelly's my guy.
Definitely.
I got a $500 signing bonus to play for Buffalo. And every time I hung out with Jim Kelly, he'd give me a $100 bill, and his brother Dan would give me a $100 bill, and then they would pick up the check every night. I made more money off Jim Kelly than I did the Buffalo Bills.
I hear you, man. Hey, it's a surreal feeling when you have all that great talent around you. And the NFL, going from college to pros, it's all the players around you are a step. They're leagues ahead of the college level athletes. So during your NFL journey, who had the most impact on you as a player?
Well, again, I've been around all those people that we just spoke about, and they all had a certain impact. And the same impact I think they all had was you be great every day. You be great on Monday, you're great on Tuesday, you're great on Wednesday. Don't tell me you're a gamer. And the great ones are great every day.
Yes, sir.
And again, I played with 4 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Played Bernie Kosar, Boomer Esiason, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. Hell, I even played with Rodney Peete. I played with Damon Heward, who played 11 years. I played with Neil O'Donnell. I played with Bubby Brister. But just watching Dan Marino warm up, the best pure thrower there's ever been in the NFL ever. And there is no debate about it. But there, and everyone's having a debate right now about who's the best quarterback in the NFL. Dan Marino is the best quarterback that's ever played this game, but the game was different then. You're talking about running a 2-back offense.
Definitely.
And throwing for 5,000 yards. Nobody could do that now. There's nobody that could run an I-style system with 2 backs in the backfield and throw for 5,000 yards. And a couple people have thrown for 5,000 yards against Marino, but none of them have done it in a 2-back offense.
Yes, sir.
With 2 receivers that are 5'9".
Whew, killing it, man. So, why do you think he never won a Super Bowl, man? That's
a great thing about football.
It's
not a one-person game. there's 25 guys, 35 guys really, 35 to 37 guys on that team that need to make plays. It's not like basketball,
Definitely,
where you're 5-on-5 and one guy can go off.
Definitely,
because the numbers are more different, and any mathematician can do the calculations.
Yes, sir.
You add in that many players, there's that many instances of wrong play, screw up. I mean,
Yes,
how
sir.
many? You don't want that 50. That there's a reason there's a 53-man roster because you only play 35.
Definitely, man. Yeah, and it's very unfortunate that he doesn't have one of those Lombardi trophies, man. He's arguably one of the greatest. And
Hey, don't feel too bad for him. Guys love it. So don't feel too bad for him.
Hey, arguably
Hey, what was that quote in the movie The Edge with Sir Anthony Hopkins? He goes, never feel bad for a guy with his own plane.
I hear you, man. Yeah, but he's a great talent. Marino is. Him and
Well, they all are. Jerry Rice is the most humble person on the planet I've ever met in my life.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he does everything perfect. Like I said, if it's on a Monday at 4 a.m. or if it's a Wednesday at 6 p.m., Jerry Rice does everything the way he's supposed to do. And he's the greatest pro of all time. And Walter Payton, I mean, I grew up watching Walter Payton, and I met him, I had the ability to meet him a few times. He is the greatest person of all time. So they all have a special innate ability that makes them great.
Yes,
but the biggest thing is they're humble and they work hard.
Definitely,
and
man.
The great ones do.
Definitely. So, among the quarterbacks in the league now, who do you think the best is, in your opinion?
Well, that's tough. I mean, it's such a tough question because everyone's a little bit different. Tom Brady being brought up as the greatest of all time, that's like saying Randy Moss is a much better receiver than Andre Reed. But who went to more Super Bowls, Andre Reed or Randy Moss? Randy Moss won one, but Andre Reed went to 4.
Definitely,
right?
man.
So Tom Brady is the best leader, I think, of any quarterback that's in the NFL right now. But my young star is Patrick Mahomes. I grew up as a Kansas City fan, so I'm probably a little bit biased. We got 2 games back then. We didn't have NFL Network package. So we got the 12 o'clock game, which was the Bears, and then we got the 3 o'clock game, which was the Kansas City Chiefs. So I've always been a Chiefs fan. Irony is, only 2 stadiums I never played in. My home stadium is Chicago and Kansas City. I played in every other stadium, except Detroit. Never played at Detroit, always played them home. But best player in the NFL? Barry Sanders, without a question. Without a question. Have you ever seen that man in person from 20 yards away? It's the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yes, sir.
That's all, folks, from our interview today. Stay tuned for more from Sports Talk with Zach Barnett. Thanks again, and God bless.